Today I would like to explain about the concept of C++ programming introduction. Introduction to basics of C++ programming. So C++ programming is a mid-level programming language developed by Bajani Stroustrup. So what is called as mid-level programming? So mid-level programming means the language can able to support low-level as well as the high-level programming. So low-level in the sense which can able to directly involve with the hardwares, and high-level programming means it can able to support the user-friendly softwares. So we can able to use the C++ for both sides. So we can able to call with the mid-level programming language. So which was implemented in 1979 with the help of Bell Laboratories. So C++ is the extension of C programming. So it has all the features of C programming. Additionally, it has the object-oriented programming concepts. Execution process. So the source code has to compile. Once the code has compiled successfully, it will generate the machine code. The machine code is a platform dependent code. Why we go for learning the C++ programming? So C++ is closely related with hardware. So which we are going to build many hardware related softwares with the help of the C++ programming. So the memory management is much more efficiently we can able to handle because it is very much faster than the other programming language like a C. Object oriented programming concept is there. So it has all the high level programming features are there in C++ programming. Employment opportunities are high because many of the companies are utilizing this C++ programming to build the mission level softwares like operating systems and high level softwares like Python. So we can able to build many applications with the help of C++ programming. So the opportunities are high for jobs. So to use applications for system programming. So system programming in the sense we can build the operating systems with the help of C++ programming. So C++ programming can able to understand the while we studying these concepts we can able to understand the what is the difference between compiler, linker, interpreter and various advanced features like object oriented programming concepts like a class, then objects, then we can able to study what is called as a data type. That is what we can able to learn C++. Features of C++. Yeah, C++ programming is behind the features of C programming. So C programming compatibility is there. So which means that all the C programming features we can able to use in the C++ programming concepts. So C object oriented programming concept. So C++ supports the object oriented programming concepts, can able to help to understand the concepts of class, objects, encapsulation, polymorphism, then abstraction in the object oriented programming concepts. Then compilation language. So the C++ is a compiled language. We can able to do the code has to compile, then only it will generate the machine code. Standard template library is there. It can able to provide the templates to build the data structures and algorithms and related collections of templates like iterators and algorithms containers we can use to build the standard forms. So we can able to use standard template libraries there to execute all kind of operations. Then dynamic memory management. C++ provided two operators like a new and delete. So one for create and one for delete the memory spaces. So dynamic memory management is very easy to execute. So exception handling is one of the best concepts to find the logical errors and systematic errors with the help of the try catch block. So here try catch throw blocks are used to find the mistakes very much faster, and logical mistakes are easily traced out with the help of the try catch block. So that concept is called as exception handling. So these are the features are present in the C++ programming concepts. Then applications of C++ programming. Several applications are there. The first one, application software development. So software development in the sense, so many operating system softwares are developed with the help of C++ programming like Windows, Mac OS, then Linux, and browsers like Mozilla Firefox, then Chrome, then database like MySQL. So these are the applications of software development. Then what about the programming development? Many programming languages are developed by the help of C++ like a C Sharp, then Java, JavaScript, Perl, Unix operating system, Unix programmings, Unix shell programmings, then C shell, then PHP, Python, Verilog. So many programming languages are developed with the help of C++ programming. Computation programming. So C++ is very much faster, so it has more computational efficiency is there. So then game development. So many games are developed with the help of C++ programming because of the faster environment, and it is closely related with the hardware. So the game development is used for C++ programming. The next one, embedded system. In the embedded system area, we are going to use the C++ programming to build the MRI machine softwares, then CAD CAMs applications, and so many places we are going to use to access the machines with the help of C++ programming. Then essential concepts of C++ programming are conditional statements, looping statements, arrays, structures, then class and objects, and so many object-oriented concepts are there. Inheritance, polymorphism, encapsulation, then abstraction, all the things are there. So we are going to study one by one. And finally we have STL, template concepts are there, standard template libraries are there to enhance the concepts of algorithms like data structure and algorithms. C++ identifier. Identifier is used to identify the values with the help of their names. So any kind of names we are going to give in the computer is called as identifiers. So like a class names, then variable like a function names, then module like a variable declaration names, all the things wherever we are going to store anything on the computer, the value should be identified by their names. So that is what we can able to use this identifier. While we using this identifier concept, we have to understand the rules and regulations of identifiers. There are several rules are there. The number one rule, the first letter should be the character. The character may be the uppercase letter or the lowercase letter, and the first letter may be underscore is possible, and no more special symbols are allowed. Then the first letter should not have any special numbers. Then first letter should not have any special characters like at symbol, dollar symbol, percentage symbol, plus, minus, division, then question mark, then exclamation symbols. Like no more special symbols are allowed in the first character. Only underscore is possible to do forming the identifier, and no more keywords are allowed to forming the identifier. So keywords are reserved words. We should not use this keyword for identifier purpose. Then I here given the some example like name, and capital letter starts with the name. And one more thing, if you should not use any white spaces for the given one or more sequence of characters, like for this example regist underscore num. Suppose if you are going to give any spaces, it will throw the error. Why? Because the white spaces is not allowed in the C++ programming, and any programming language should not use the white spaces in between variable names. If you want to cover this white spaces, you have to use the underscore. So even no more special symbols are allowed to cover this white spaces except the underscore. The next important concept is called as keywords. So keywords are reserved words. Each and every keyword we have separate meanings there, and basic data types also included in the keywords purpose. Then keywords are reserved words. You should not use for any other purposes. C++ commands. So what is called as a command? So suppose if you want to explain the code, the non-programmer also can able to easily understand your code with the help of the commands. There are two types of commands are there. One is called a single line command, and another one is called as a multi-line command. So what is called a single line command? If you want to explain your code explanation within the single line, you have to just go with the double slash. So double slash and the single line command you can give. So while we giving this type of explanation, so the explanation will be omitted while we doing the compilation process. If you have the double slash, first you have to mention the double slash followed by the explanation line you can mention. So while we going to the compilation time, if the compiler see the double slash, it will ignore the lines to execute. So single line command. So in this program we are going to see that the program can be explained with the help of single line. So suppose if you want to do any explanation in the form of single line, you have to hide this single line with the help of the double slash. So while we compiling this program, so the single line command will be able to hide the particular lines while we are doing the compilation. In case suppose if I am going to remove this double slash, so what will happen? It will throw the error. Why? Because the compiler can able to include this line as a part of your program. So if you are going to ignore any line during the execution process, you have to put the double slash. The next one is called as multi-line command. So what is called as multi-line command? If you want to do multiple lines as explanation for the given project or given program, you have to just go with the multi-line command. So the multi-line command starts with the slash star and multiple lines, and finally you have to end with star slash. So while we executing this multi-line command, so just see, this is an example for multi-line command. If you are having multiple lines are there to be explained for the particular program, just go with this slash star and star slash. So while we executing this program, those lines will be ignored by the compilation process. So this is called as the multi-line command. The next one is called as standard end line. So this is a special keywords used to remove the memory space values, as well as it has a special value is called as a new line. Whenever we are going to use this endl at the end of the line of the cout statement, it will flush the memory space, as well as it will provide the new line of the next output whatever we are going to print. So while we executing this endl statement, the endl statement can able to give the new line. So if I am going to execute this program showing the output like C++ programming along with the SRM Institute of Science and Technology. Why? Because in the C++ programming there is no endl is there, so it will not able to generate the new line. So this C++ programming, it will allow us to continue the next operation because there is no flush in the memory. So in the memory C++ programming is there. In the next cout statement we have SRM Institute of Science and Technology. So those two lines are combinedly print because there is no end line, and the next statement we are providing the end line. So the end line will be generate the new line, as well as it will flush the memory and it will clear the memory, and it will allow us to print the new string. So the string is called as computational intelligence. That is what we are going to the computational intelligence print in the next line, as well as while we putting the end line here one memory new white space is given here. So likewise, the endl is used to generate the new line, as well as it will flush the memory space. So what is called a standard namespace? Whenever we are going to use any C++ program, the C++ program should be identified by their names. So the namespace used to identify the collection of names like identifiers, functions, classes, wherever we are going to use the names, that can be identified by the namespace. Usually the C++ program can be used to identify by the names with the help of std keyword. If you want to use the std keyword, you have to use the scope resolution operator. So here the given examples, std scope resolution operator, then cin cout will be used. So according to this example, here I like to explain about the std. So here we are going to give the wherever we are going to use any name in the programming, so the program should be identified by their names. So in this program we are going to use std keyword. So std along with the scope resolution, so then only the program can able to understand the names. So here in this program we are going to use all the places in the std scope resolution operator to understand the namespaces. If you want to remove the std and scope resolution operator in all the places, just go with using namespace std. So while we using this global declaration itself, the entire program can able to understand that. So while we using namespace std, the program can able to understand that they are using the names perfectly. So using namespace std, so in this std we are using commonly in the global declaration method, so no need to use the std scope resolution operator every time. So that is what the computer can recognize the names whatever we are using in our program. The next important concept is called as literal. So literals are fundamental and essential concepts used to study, because while we are going to store anything on the computer, the values are called as literals. So there is so many types of literals we are using day by day. The literals are integer literal, float literal, character literal, string literal, then boolean literals. So first one we are going to discuss about is called as integer literal. So what is called as integer literal? Whenever we are going to store any integer value, the integer value called as integer literals. While we executing this program, the program can able to understand that whatever the value we are giving after the assignment value, the values are identified by the integer keyword. So here we can have several type of integer keywords. We can use like long int, unsigned long int, and long int. All the integers are referred only the integer values. Integer literal, as I said, so whatever the value we are giving in the after the assignment operator, like integer values, integer keyword can able to recognize the input, so it will display the answer as 42. So according to this example, while we executing this one, so the computer can recognize all the numbers are as a 42. So the first one is referred as a decimal number, octal number, hexadecimal, binary, then long int number, unsigned number, long int number. Whatever the integer representation number if you are giving, this integer keyword can able to recognize that is called as a 42. So this is called as a integer literal. The next one is called as a float constant. So what is called as a float? So that means that whatever the value we are giving the fraction value, that is called as a float literal character constants. So here we are going to have different kinds of floating operations are there. So here the which whatever the value with the help of fractions, the fractions will be identified with the help of float keyword. So the float keyword has a special meaning because it allows to execute the value with the help of fractions. So here float literal, double literal, long double literals and scientific notations also can able to recognize by this float literal character constants. So while we executing this program, you may get the answer of floating values. So here 3.14f, which will be considered as a 3.14. Why? Because that is called as a float literal. Likewise, we can able to and give the values like a float literal character constants. The next one is called as a character literal. So character literal which allows to store only one character at a time. So the character should be enclosed with the help of single quote. So while we executing this program, so here we are going to store the value of a in the form of single quote. So the single quote can able to refers that it will allow us to store only one character at a time. So this char keyword can able to accept only one character at a time. So while we executing this program, you may get the answer as a. Why? Because it will allow us to store only one character. So that is a special purpose of char keyword. So a string literal character constant means if you want to store a sequence of characters with the help of a double quotes, that called as a string literal character constant. Suppose if you want to store the string values as just go with the sequence of characters that should be enclosed with the double quotes is called a string. The string can be recognized with the help of char, but still char will allow us to store only one character. Suppose if you want to store a sequence of character, you have to use the derived concept is called as array. So then only you can able to store multiple characters at the same time. So through the help of the cout statement, you can able to print the sequence of characters. So here we are going to get the same answer as hello. So likewise we can able to use the string constant. So this is called as a string constant. String constant should be enclosed with the help of double quotes. The next constant is called as boolean literal constant. So what is called as boolean literal character constant? Suppose if you are giving any value, the value will be given either true or false. True will be referred with the help of 1 and false will be referred with the help of 0. So this is the best example for literal character constant. So I took the example for logical operator. So here I like to explain about the concept of true or false. So here while we executing this line, so here 3 not equal to 5 and 3 less than 5. So if the conditions are true, and if the conditions are true, then cout statement will provide the answer as true, which means that which is referred as 1. So this is called as a boolean literal character constant. Then the next important concept you should know about while we are framing a program, so you should identify that what is called as the scope. So because whenever we are going to use any variable on the given program, the variable should be lies between the scope only. So without the scope you can't able to access the values outside the program and inside the program. So the variable of the scope is very important. There are two types of scopes are there. So what is called as a scope? A lifetime of the given variable lies between the curly braces. So that is a major thing is called as a scope. So scope, if you are going to access the local scope outside the variable, you can't access, but the outside the global scope you can able to give, like a global variable can able to access everywhere of the program until the lifetime of the program. So that is the special meaning of the scope. So if you want to use the scope perfectly, you can able to access the values very easily. So this is an example of local variable. So whenever we are going to use any variable within the curly braces, so the curly brace is going to like a placeholder, we can able to hold the values within the curly braces. So here we are going to store the value of a and b within the curly brace of main. So here we have the curly braces. Within the curly brace we are going to use to declare two variables. One is called as a comma b, another one is called as a c. So both a, b, c are present within the curly braces. So there is no issues to access the a value and the b value and the c value. So finally we can print the value of c also. So while we doing the variable declaration within the curly brace, that is called as the local variable. So there is no issues to access within the curly brace. In case if I am going to print anything on outside of the curly brace, it will throw the error. So here I am going to print, for example, cout c. What will happen? The system can't able to recognize this c out of c. See here, it will throwing the error because c is not recognized. Okay, so the global variable should be accessed outside of the curly brace. So if you want to store anything out of the curly brace, just to go with the global variable. So what is called as a global variable? So here this example shows that global variable perfectly. So if you want to declare anything above the main function, that will be considered as a global variable. So int g equal to 20, which means that while we doing this global declaration, wherever the g is present, it will able to supply all the values throughout the program. So here this g can able to access through inside the curly brace as well as the outside the curly brace. So this is what the global variable declaration is present. So this is called as a global declaration. So here g will be present at the globally, and here also g will be present at internally, and here we have the cout statement. Now which g will be able to get the value? So either this g or this 10 will be print. So while we are going to have same variable at the multiple time, so it will give the preference to the inside of the local variable. So if the inside local variable values does not present, then only it will able to get the value from the global. See this example, it will shows the output as 10. Why? Because the g get the value from the 10 in the locally, so it will able to fetch the value immediately from the local. In case the g value is not present, if I am going to hide this line, so what will happen? The g will be get the value from the global. So then only we will get the value of 20 here. See the output. So here we are going to get the value 20 globally. So this is the way the global value and the local value will be accessible with the help of the scope. So you should understand what is called a scope. So there is two type of scope is there. One is called as local scope, which will be present within the curly brace. If you want to talk about the global scope, just go with the declaration and the value assignments above the main function. So this is the way we have to use the global declaration as well as the local declaration. The next important concept is called as type conversion. So what is called as a type conversion? If you want to convert any type from one type to another type, just go with the type conversion. There are two type of type conversion is there. So if you have multiple types for the single variable or the single value, you just, for example, I'm using the integer value, but I want to display it into the float value representation, just go with the type conversion. Instead of declaring the value, just go with the type conversion. There are two type of type conversion is there. One is called as implicit type conversion. The next one is called as explicit type conversion. Implicit type conversion. So while we using the keyword itself, the computer can able to convert the value from one form to another form implicitly. So which means that without human effort, the program language can able to understand that and able to convert automatically. So this is what automatic type conversion. So according to this example, according to this example, I declared two variables. One is called as I is equal to 10 and one is called as char c equal to a. So while I am doing this operation, the computer can recognize that I am going to do the addition of plus of I and c. So while we doing this plus I of I and c, you may get the answer, but the I value will be added with 1.0. So now I is called as integer 1. So I is called as integer 1. So integer will be added with the character. So the computer can able to do the implicit conversion of one form to another form. Now the C will be implicitly converted to integer form. So this is a way without human effort we can able to convert one form to another form, which means that character form to integer form. Now we are getting the ASCII value of A and which is stored on C. So that will be converted and the value will be stored to I again. So finally we are going to have the float, which means that I is referred as integer 1 and now that will be converted in the form of float. So likewise we can able to do the conversion from one type to another type implicitly without human effort. The next type conversion is called as explicit type conversion. So what is called as explicit type conversion? Explicit type conversion means like a C programming, we are going to convert the type conversion from one form to another form explicitly. The other name is called as a typecasting. So we are going to convert from one form to another form. It's look like a similar C programming type conversion, and here we are going to do the conversion like C here. Number is called as a 25 and it is going to refer the integer type. And suppose if you want to print this num2 as a floating point representation, just to give within the parenthesis you have to mention the type of the data in which we are going to convert. So while we doing this type of conversion, we are going to convert our value explicitly. So here we are going to print the value. So the number will be converted and we are going to print the value as 25. So this is the way we are going to do the conversion from one form to another form. So this is called as a type conversion. Constant keyword in C++. What is called as a constant? If you want to store any values as like a constant, the value should not be changed at any time at any cost. So the unless if you are going to change anything, that will throw the error. So here the constant keyword has a special meaning. Like if you want to like fix any value like a constant, for example, your name is constant, your register number is constant, your class is constant, then your bank account number is constant. Likewise, if you are going to have any constant values, just to go with the constant keyword. So const keyword is used to fix the value as permanent value for the given variable. So according to this program, we are going to have the constant keyword. If you want to store any value like a constant, you should not able to change. Until if you are going to change anything, it will throw the error. See here, the number is throwing the error. Why? Because cannot assign to read only type. See here showing the error like cannot assign to read only type constant int. So which means that we are going to store any value. The value should be the constant, const keyword. We can't able to store any new updated value on the given variable. In case if you are going to execute this program, it will throw the error. Why? Because if you are trying to modifying the num value, it will throw the error. Suppose if I am going to remove this const keyword, the program will execute successfully. Why? Because there is no const keyword, so we will get the output like 25 plus 10 is called as a 35. So if you are going to put any constant keyword, the const keyword will not allow to modify the given variable values. So this is what called as constant keyword. So if you want to use constant keyword, the value still remain until the lifetime of the program. You should not change. If you want to remove the error, just go with the double slash here, simply see out, we can able to execute the code. If you are trying to modify the value of the constant, it will throw the error. Thank you for watching my channel. In for future videos, I like to explain static and so many concepts are there like looping statements and conditional statements. Keep watching my channel.